Alright, I think I'm live now. Okay. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory what I'm going to be doing. It's literally in the title. If it's not, then, I mean, I'm going to be building a spider mech and build a boat. So, yep. Alright, here we go. So there's a few ways to do this. I'm pretty much just gonna start with a body. And I don't really know what tools you're gonna need ahead. So just like watch what I do, and if you need certain tools, then I don't know. Or you can just skip ahead once this is done being live streamed. Yeah. So we have that. It's gonna be our body, and let's actually just start with the leg mechanics. So how I'm gonna do this to save time is, so you want a wheel. You can use the rear wheels, these ones, but it's just annoying because you don't quite know what the hitbox is. So you can, I just don't recommend it. So next we want pretty much another one of these. We can put it like a little bit higher. You want to put it like that, and you actually want to scale it in there. And then one of those, maybe like, yeah. So then we want this. We need 2 hinges. One there. Oh wait, this is crooked. How do I get crooked? Okay. So you want one right there, and we'll start with one there. There, and okay. So as you can see, we need it to be aligned. If not, it just doesn't really work. Just set your move tool to 1, and you just want to pretty much just eyeball it. Or what you can do is take this and clone it up. That way it is aligned. And you want this to scale, but you don't want it touching the yellow part, because if it is, this won't work. This doesn't have to be exact. You can just get it like, you can just eyeball it. And you want to make sure the wheel is attached too. But don't have it touch the black part, or it won't work. So like that, kind of. Okay. And then you want this and that. That's the start. And then what you're going to want to do is place like a rod, or you can just scale a block. But I like rods because they look better. And just make sure it's like right here. Yeah. And I mean, you can just, you want to go ahead and save that. So I'll clear up a slot here. Okay. So now that we have that, what we're going to want to do is we're actually going to want to place down a seat. And you want to bring this down, torque max. Wheel speed down to 1. And you want to clone this. Not this part though. And go ahead and put it like right there. So it's not connected. If it is connected, then that's a problem. So you want to unanchor that. Okay, it didn't fall, so you're good. You want to just basically move it until it gets to the bottom. It doesn't have to be an exact, but it's better the more exact it is. Okay. Now that that's done, you want to re-anchor it, and you can delete the seat. And now you want to save that. And so to get the next half, we're gonna take the lazy way, and we're gonna clone it, and rotate it. Most of the stuff does not have to be exact. I'll tell you when it does need to be exact, which is pretty much never. So you want to make sure that these two, like, on opposite sides, they're not, like, they're on opposite, but you can't have these on the same. It's like pretty much exactly how this is, but not it doesn't have to be exact, you know. So we can test this now by placing a seat, but you want to save first. Save, and then you can unanchor everything except that. See, it didn't fall. If it did fall, just make sure everything's connected, and then press forwards, and it's gonna start walking like that. Later we're gonna turn it, right, but later we're gonna turn up the wheel speed so it looks a little faster. Actually, we're gonna do that right now. So let's start with 5. Okay, and it's kind of just trial and error. You want to see until you get it, but while you're testing it, you want to unanchor. You want to make sure that's anchored, because right now it won't work. So then you unanchor. Okay, don't really know what happened there, but you can see if that's the speed we want it, then we're good. Sometimes what happens is it's just not. You have to reload. Okay, so we can see that fell again. So that means it isn't connected. So what we are gonna have to do is go over here. So it's this one and that one that fell. So it fell here. So we take a block of any kind, doesn't really matter. Yeah, you don't need to use the exact blocks I'm using, but plastic doesn't really weigh anything, so I like to use it, and it doesn't really have a texture, so it's good for coloring things. And you just you want to just make sure it's connected, but like don't touch the white part. Don't connect the black part and the white part, or else the wheels won't spin and the whole thing won't work. So we just, and it was this one too. See, so we think that's connected now, and we gotta make sure. Okay, so then we save and unanchor everything except that. Okay, it all worked, and now we can test if we like that speed. I do. If not, you can increase the speed, and as long as it's under like 20, it should work. Let's see. So wheel speed, we set it to like 10, it should work. Wait, 20? 20 is pretty good. That's a little fast, but if you're into fast things, that works. 10 works. You can just see each speed. And then this is 50, which I do not recommend because it just looks blurry. That's 40. A little slower, could you use it. This is 30. A little slower. That one's acceptable. I would use that for a mech if it's like fast. And then you already saw those. So now that we know that the 5 setting is the one I like best, you want to reload. And I mean, it's basically up to design now, but I'm just gonna work on the mechanics right now. So we have that, but we're like, okay, how do I get it to spin, and how do I get it to move forwards, and how do I get everything to stay upright? So let's actually start with stay upright, right? So this part may seem a little sketchy, but trust me, it works. So you want to go like that. You don't want this linked right now. And you want to get a block of any kind. You want to go like that. Okay, you want to go like this, and you just want to make sure it's off the ground, and kind of just make a little bit of a platform here. It doesn't have to be exact, but it's better if it is. You want it essentially a square. So next you want to get a jet. You can use purple, but I like to use red because it's slower and I'm impatient. I mean, well, it runs out faster. And you want the chair basically right inside there. And you're going to want to put a portal on the top. Get one. Okay. This will make sense in a second. Actually, not in a second. More like a minute. Okay, so you want to unanchor everything. Just click that. So you're going to want to have your cursor selected over this. Only this. If it's everything, it won't work. So we want to wait till the jet runs out and click it as soon as possible once the jet runs out. And, I mean, yes, will take a second. You want to have it you want to have it as close as possible. Again, it does not need to be exact, but this is going to determine how far your mech is going to be able to go. Oh, I accidentally did that. It's fine. So we can keep going. One way to judge this is as soon as the tail stops. Right there. It's really all about timing. But of course, if it falls, no big deal. Just, you want to get as close as possible. This is the best way to keep your mech upright, because, well, the other ones are like using a cake or like really balancing stuff, which isn't good. See, so it just stopped, and you want to anchor it, because I just anchored it right at the moment. And I mean, you just gotta make sure it's not falling. If it is, just anchor it really quickly, and then so you wanna take a rope and jump through the portal or fall. Falling works, because I never seem to get the portal right. And you just want to keep falling and try and land in your plot. You'll bounce a bit and place the other end of the rope on this wheel. Okay? And so what you're gonna want to do is go through the portal once more. Okay. And I don't think we're gonna be able to get to there without. Oh, we are. Okay. And so we should be able to just delete this, delete that, and we want a cake block. You can use a firework or a glue. I just like to use cake. Oh. Okay. I'm not really sure how that's gonna work. Okay. Well, if it works, it works. So we just unanchor that. Okay, so we can see that the rope came unattached. That's not really a problem, because it tends to just bounce up. If it bounces out, that is a major problem, and you will have to do it again. It shouldn't bounce out, though. See, so it is on the ground, which is completely fine. That's actually that's going to end up happening. So what you want to do is you want to place a block on it, and then you want to place a cake or a firework or a glue, just something to attach yourself to it. And if you did it right, you should be able to just unanchor these two blocks, and now it's attached to you. So now you want to grab some sort of jetpack, or if you can just immediately walk up to that thing, then you can go ahead and do that. So, let's see. I'm going to use the wings. You don't have to. You can build yourself a little staircase. This is just faster. So, get it somewhat towards the center. Does not at all need to be exact. But, you know, the more exact it is, better it is. You want to anchor that. You want to delete the chair and the cake. And the jetpack. If you want to. And then you need to attach the rope to the whole thing. Kind of like that. And then now is the point where we're going to attach this. Actually, no, it's not. Okay. And we want to take these wheels simply because they're aligned. And we're going to clone it. You can place them, but I do this for alignment. And you want to get this. See the lowest ones? You want the wheel slightly, you want like the tip of the wheel slightly below. Like that. That's pretty good. And then you take something like that and attach it. And attach. Just doing this for looks. Okay. So you'll have something that looks like this. By now you're probably going to want to save. Okay. And then, I mean, that's pretty much most of it done. So now's the point where we want to attach this. You can put it wherever you want. It doesn't really matter. Just remember you'll rotate with the build. I like to put it in the center or like the head. But, I mean, honestly, you can put it on the wheel. It will just look weird. And you can make any of this invisible. You can style it however you want. And you want to take this. You want to go over here. And you want to connect it as A and D. It doesn't matter what order, because we're going to figure that out later. Okay. And these are bound to go forwards and backwards. So with that, we should be able to just save. And here's where if we did everything correctly, that should be pretty much it done. But there is a lot of trial and error we probably will have to do. So we're going to sit in the seat on anchor. And, okay, we can see a few things. The wheels aren't moving. Why could that be? Maybe because of the torque, but they already have maximum torque. Oh, they're not bound. Okay. So we're going to bind it forwards, back. If you're on mobile, I'm sorry, but this just simply won't work. And as you can see, we're walking now. And, okay, so that's really, you want it max torque in like 1. And you can see now that's working. It's actually reverse spin. And, I mean, that's, yeah. Don't quite, okay. So you can see it's kind of having trouble turning. If you don't mind that, I mean, then your mech's pretty much done. But I do. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take some metal, or whatever heavy block, but metal. I use metal. And just do like a good amount, you know? It isn't, you don't have to do it that much if you make it out of plastic. But, you want to do a good amount, though. So, like, that should probably do it. And then, oh, and if you remember, this isn't bound. So we gotta bind it again. So forwards, back. And then this needed to be reverse spin, so we click that. And we need full wheel torque. And then it seems like 1 wheel speed would be enough. So now we save. And on anchor. So it's not turning. What could be the problem? It's that the rope seems to have fell, but that can't be it. We know that's turning though. This has actually happened before on other mechs, so I think we just need to reattach the rope. It's weird. If this doesn't work, I can try some more things, but usually this does end up being the problem. It's weird. I don't know why it does this, even though it is technically attached. It's some sort of glitch. Don't know how. Okay. So now that it's pretty much attached, we can. I just saved. And you wanna an anchor? And now it works. And what that basically did is add more weight, which is essentially more torque. I don't really know how that works. And now let's do some styling. If you know how to style everything, then you can just go ahead and like do that. You don't have to keep watching this. So, what we're gonna do, actually there's a few more things you're probably gonna wanna do. I like to make this collision off, and same with, but you want these wheels, you only want the bottom wheels to have collision on the bottom part, and you want most of the wheel supports and stuff to have collision off, like that. Not the legs themselves. I mean, you can if you want, but it doesn't really do anything. I just do all this because it's harder to break if you're in PvP. So it seems to be everything we want collision off. Alright. And then for, oh wait, and you want these collision off too, because, it just won't break if you're in PvP. Oh yeah, you want the rope to be, yeah, it's already collision off. Okay, wait. Yeah, collision off. We want collision off on the rope. And it's really a matter of what you want to have visibility. So you're gonna want that, obviously, that, and those. But I mean, so you want to turn up transparency and see if that's how you like it. That does seem like it's gonna work for me. If you don't like it, there's a few more things you can do with pistons. By essentially just like taking the halves apart. You can literally just like split it there, or just take the halves apart and push them together with pistons to make the legs more attached. But I'm not really gonna do that right now. Or the simpler way, which I actually will do right now, is, see how that's not connected right there? So you want to scale this to where it's going to be connected right about there, but we're actually going to use one. You want to go right there, right? That sounds about right. And we want to go, so that's not touching anything. And we want to put a piston. We're probably going to want to do like, I don't know, 2. This is also trial and error. It does not need to be exact. Just, you want to try and get it to like there. So maybe 3. Or no, 4. We try 4. And that seems like how we're going to want it. So now we just want to attach that, like right there. And, I mean, yeah. You just don't want it touching the wheel. So now what's going to happen is if we retract that piston, that should look right there. And then, okay. So now to bring this over here, we just select that little bit. And just duplicate. Oh, so yeah, it's about like making sure you have it right. It's gonna be trial and error. It's gonna be trial and error if you want it to look exact. So you have that, so like a little bit like that. Move it up. And now make sure it's not touching. Okay. And next, I'm not gonna do this, but you can mirror it or just flip it. Now you get the general idea. And I would turn this collision off. Really collision off on that. That too. Okay. And now it's saved. And so we can decide what we want to keep. So we like that, we like that, we like that. We also like that. And those. And just turn up the transparency so you don't see it. And now we bind these pistons. Make sure it's the pistons to this. And I like to do, so pull it would be Q, and then push it E. So we save. And if I did everything right, and we unanchor, and then we press E. Oh, pull is, okay, so we press Q, I guess. See, and that is pretty much how you're going to want to do it. And there's your little spider mech. Yeah. Like and subscribe. I hope this helped. Yep, there you go.